Multithon Rivals 2024. My name is Quacksilver, and I have just one more run to share with you all today. I hope your break was fruitful, that you have had an opportunity to stretch, get some water, and rest up, because now it is time for giant robots. I am delighted to welcome to the stage Mash, who is going to be running Omega Boost Beat the Game Hard Mode. Take it away.
You have no idea what you just did. This game, I know that when it was taken, I did note that this game has a chance to not finish when they take the incentive for hard mode. Because hard mode is hard. By that, I mean, what's going to happen is health is going to carry over between stages. So if I take too much damage on a previous stage, I get very little health recovery. So this is like the Dark Souls of shoot 'em ups back on the PlayStation from the early, I guess late 1990s. Because it was 1999 when it released by the creators of Gran Turismo, Polyphony Digital. It's the only non-racing game they've ever created. And this game runs incredibly well on hardware at 60 FPS. If you don't know anything about the story, great. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure the comms will be able to fill you in, or host, I should say. And yeah, we'll get started with the run. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to skip this opening here. It just kind of introduces the Omega Boost and our pilot, which is Lester J. Hemmings, who we're going to send back in time to the year of, what was it, 1940 something? To stop the end of the world from AI and our arch rival. So anyways, we'll go ahead and make sure that we're on hard mode. We're on normal, so switch that to hard. And we'll go ahead and start the timer, and then we'll be able to talk in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thanks. So the way this game plays out is I'll have 2 shoot buttons. Every time I hit a shoot button, it will shoot 3 volleys of an attack. If I don't hit the shoot button, I'll be starting to paint targets for missile lock-ons. I will get increased missile lock-ons and Viper Boost drive between stages as I rank up in my pilot. The better my pilot rank between each stage clear, the more health and the more experience I gain, which then increases the more missiles and Viper Boost and health I get back from killing enemies, etc. So the first stage is pretty chillax. We're going to be waiting for these enemies to spawn. We're going to paint them all up, hit them, dodge out of the way, and then do the same with these other enemies here. And this is what's going to go on for the next 30 seconds or so before the first mini-boss, so feel free to jump in whenever. Yeah.
So just to confirm, each zone of these zones has at least one mini-boss? What's the upper bound on mini-bosses you can be fighting in a given zone?
2. 2 mini-bosses. So this particular mini-boss, I have to hit him in the hatch when he opens up, and on hard mode, he likes to track me with his shots. On normal, he would just kind of stay stationary when he's shooting. But you can see the shots he's firing are trying to track me, which is making it a little bit more difficult to get free shots on the hatch opening. And the orbiting, like, asteroids block my shots, so I'm trying to stay away from them so I can get all my painted targets on the boss there. And we took a little bit of damage, but as long as we don't take too much more, we'll get a full health recovery by the end of this stage. Alright, so that's mini-boss down. Just gotta
Nicely done.
Spawn a couple little guys inside that we'll want to kill for extra pilot score. Go ahead and paint those guys up. And then the real boss is gonna spawn. Alright, so we got some cheese for this first boss, which is incredibly fun to do. Makes this boss incredibly easy. So we're gonna zoom into him. We're gonna lock, hopefully on the boss, not on the ships. Alright, there we go. So the game likes to target lock the nearest enemy, and then I'm gonna hover in place and just shoot the boss from here safely without activating the boss AI. And all I have to worry about is those ships deciding to shoot me, and that's the first boss down. Trust me, the rest of the game gets significantly harder from this point on.
still a commanding opening salvo. I'm trying to get in the spirit of the robot terminology.
Yeah.
Do you have a second for an update?
Oh, yeah, sure. Feel free.
Speaking of space, we had a new incentive open, and speaking of space, you're gonna have to walk with me for a second here. For our upcoming Roots of Pacha run, for every $10 we raise between now and then, the runners of Roots of Pacha will paint an Amogus during the painting festival, roughly an hour and a half into the run. And this is direct from production. I bet with a big enough donation, you could probably convince them to draw other stuff too. But at the rate of one Amogus per $10, that's a deal that cannot be beat.
Yeah, get those Among Us. I would like to see some Among Us happen. Alright.
Amogus counts as space. They're not giant robots, but it counts.
Among Us takes place in space mainly, so I would say that counts. Alright, so, and then this stage here, we have a pretty similar start to opening, but we have these satellite dishes that contain some satellites inside of them, or these rockets that contain satellites in them. And we'll have 1 and then 3 coming, and we want to get close to them, break them open, kill all of the little satellites that come out of them, so that they're not flying around trying to kill me. And again, doing like the target painting to make that really easy. And then we'll have a mini boss. This is a giant space station here. So the trick with this is we're going to orbit around it. And we're going to blow up different sections of it to increase the amount of damage output we have. All while the mini boss is going to be firing at us with the turrets on the front side and summoning other robots to try to kill me. Because the AI, which is known as Alpha Core in this game, became sentient back in 1946 and wants to wipe out humanity because humanity is its biggest threat and rival. And we're actually going to see our rival in this game, in this stage, for the first time. Which is going to be the boss coming up. Like I said, the levels go by pretty quickly early on, but they get a lot more dangerous to go. So this is Beta Boost. The mech that we're piloting, the giant robot, is called Omega Boost. And Beta Boost is very much wanting to be us. And so the trick with this guy is we're just going to orbit around him. And the ability that gives me the ability to orbit and target lock is the left bumper if you're playing on the controller, which is L1, I believe, because this is a PlayStation game. And we want to just orbit close enough that we can hit him with a bunch of our shots, and if he gets too far away, paint him as he's coming in. And he's just got to dash around really quickly, try to avoid physical contact with him. It doesn't deal too much damage on contact with this enemy, but later enemies will do quite a bit. He's going to teleport behind us. He's going to do a strafe with a bunch of shots near us. And we're just going to, again, continue to do the same thing here. Try to paint him up and stay close to get as many shots as we can. And on hard mode, we're gonna do things a little bit slower, just to try to preserve as much health and not be too risky with some of the quick kill strats and stuff that we do. Because we don't want to trade all our health away early on, because every bit of health that we can save from the early stages to the later parts is going to be significantly helpful when dealing with enemies going forward. Like you can see, I got a pilot ranking, which is A, which is based off my destroy ratio as well as the clear time speed. So that's a thing to keep note of, and that's what allows me to recover my HP and gain more missile locks between stages. But coming up, we're gonna go to the planet. We're trying to get on this planet because there's a time shaft inside of it, and on this planet in particular, there's going to be a bunch of jets, and they're going to do a lot of damage to me if I don't be careful of them, because they are very fast. And they come at you in sort of aerial formations that you would expect jets to do when attacking a target in foreign space. And I'll let chat guess, or the host guess, what the boss of this stage might be.
I mean, the only thing I've got is giant robot, but I feel like that's probably not descriptive enough for what you are getting at here.
There is a robot that we will fight, but that is a mini-boss, not the actual boss of the stage. There's a lot of robots. I mean, it is AI that we're fighting against, so...
I'm picking up on this theme, yes. What is our ultimate zone boss going to be here, Mash?
Alright. Well, I'll leave it as a surprise until we get to him. So we just gotta get through a few more assaults by these jets, and then we'll be at our mini-boss. This one's a bit more of on a cycle, so, like, the only way to really speed it up is to kill as many jets as possible. Because they have to go outside of view range and despawn, and then this is our mini-boss. So the trick with this mini-boss is he's gonna fire a lot of drunk missiles that don't really have homing. So we're just gonna try to stay close to him, avoid as many of them as we can, maximize our damage, target lock when he gets too far away, and then getting close when he's firing a bunch of missiles again. And just orbit around him as best we can to avoid the shots. So far, so good. But yeah, if I don't, like I said, if I don't hit the fire button, it will just paint targets, and the next time I hit the button, it'll release missiles. So, like, the controls are super simple. But again, the real skill comes from knowing your controls and how to best use them against the AI in certain situations. Alright, so mini-boss is down. And boss is coming up. And if you guess that the boss is a like a B-52 bomber, or an Aurora bomber, then you are correct.
Oh!
Yeah, so this boss is considerably outfitted with tons of weaponry. We're going to try to dismantle it as much as possible. It's going to drop a lot of bombs. It has 4 tracking mounted cannons that do a load of damage to us. It has guns all over the front side and back side of the ship. Or the underside, I should say. And it has an attack that it'll do where it rains lasers from the sky at me. And the only way to really dodge it without taking too much damage is to hide underneath it. So we're gonna try to dismantle the ship and the cannons as best we can. And again, trying to take as little damage as we can, because those shots hurt. I'm not too concerned about the guns shooting at us, so much as the cannons. Alright, he's not doing that attack. He just really likes to shoot me with the cannons and the bombs. Alright, here comes. So there's an audio cue. When you hear like the hatch noise opening up, that's our cue to get under him. And get some pre-painted target locks. And then get out from directly under him. Deal with that last cannon over here before it hopefully fires. Thank you. Alright, now he's gonna just start doing some spins, because we took out the last engine there. Took a little bit more damage on this boss than I wanted. We got rid of the more major threats of the boss now, so he can't use them against us, which is nice. One of the few bosses where you can take out certain parts of the enemy or the boss to prevent them from doing certain attacks. Anyways, now we just enjoy it crashing into the planet, and then we'll be on the next stage.
GG. While we celebrate, can I share some love from one of our previous runners?
Feel free, you don't even need to ask me.
Amazing. I have $10 here from Irar, who says, "Thanks, Multithon, for having the Turnip Boy community back for yet another run. Always a good time. Here's going to help those in need with puppers that help them out. Also, just put a cringeworthy dog pun here. I'm counting on you, Quack. That was your first mistake. I am honor bound to let everyone know that you offloaded your cringeworthy dog puns onto me." But thank you very much for that donation. I also want to let everyone know, while we're at the start of the 4th zone here, that the fun doesn't have to end with just painting Amoguses in Roots of Pacha. because we have opened up one milestone as well. If we raise $27.50, that is $2,750 by the end of the marathon, we are going to add another Final Fantasy XIV fishing showcase, this time with the professionals showing off what peak fishing gameplay looks like. Obviously, fishing minigames are the cornerstone of Multithon beyond Archipelago, so we have to see that, and the sooner we meet it, the more time we will have to showcase another milestone lined up behind it that you won't want to miss.
All right, we missed some interesting stuff there. So at the start of the stage, I just shot up in the air to destroy enemies that were gonna fall on me, and beat up some guys that were gonna pop out of the ground by going to them quickly to make them pop out faster. This boss, don't get grabbed by the laser, and just circle, strap, and missile lock, and boss goes down. So there's 2 mini bosses on this stage, plus a final boss. So we killed that robot. Snake got a nice little hit on me. So Snake Boy, we're gonna target lock him when he pops out, and then just gun him down. On hard mode, you can't really get a 2 cycle on him, but you can usually get like a 4, maybe a 5 cycle on him instead. Average cycle on this boss is 3 if you're on par with your shooting. If you kill the boss before he comes back out of the ground, he'll do another animation, which costs time, and you'll have to pop back out to die. Now the actual boss, which is a giant robot, as expected. This bot is pretty scary. He has multiple different phases, and on the last part of his cycle of a phase, he will start running around and do tons of damage to us and make it so much harder to get him. So we're going to Viper Boost here, which is that blue bar on the top of my health that I was charging up since the start. And that'll just make it really easy to deal lots of damage to the boss safely without taking damage ourselves. And boss is down.
I blinked.
Yep. Yeah, that Viper Boost is a saving grace in this game. You gotta use it sparingly, though, because it takes a while to recharge. It recharges faster per kill that we get as well. So not killing things means bad times for us later on if you want to use it.
I can see just how much of this game snowballs into itself.
Yeah, so I recovered a little bit of health. We're going to our first time shaft, and as I said, health doesn't completely recover between stages. The other thing to note, too, is game has continues. After you use all your continues, it is game over, like literally GG. And if you have to use a continue, you will start with the exact amount of health that you had going into that start of that first stage that you left off on. So always a good thing to note. Keep yourself healthy. Try to minimize damage whenever possible. And the faster you kill enemies, the less likely they're going to kill you. So this is the basically first auto-scroller of the game. So there's a couple things to note. This level speeds up, especially on hard mode. So at a later section here, it'll go pretty fast. We're going to be killing enemies, dodging obstacles, that kind of thing. So if you get a little bit of a Star Fox vibe, trust me, that's how I feel every time I play this game as well. The scary enemy or boss on this stage is going to be, well, I'll let you guys figure it out. But here's the mini boss, which is a rotating laser. And the first part of the phase, when it starts, it will shoot that, and I'll have a beam in the center, and then get faster and faster as we go through the center of it as it tries to kill us with that beam. And we're going to try to just whittle it down as quickly as we can. I'd rather get hit by the boss than the laser itself, because the laser does way more damage to us. Alright, so he's dead. Turn around here. Refocus. And then we'll be coming up to the final boss of this stage. After we dodge some obstacles here. Alright, I lost control. That's fine. Now we gotta dodge this oncoming obstacle. And like I said, this is moving a lot faster than it does on normal. which makes us dodging a lot harder. Thankfully, you don't take too much damage from the obstacles, but, I mean, if you got bumped around enough, you lose control, so... Doesn't really help the situation. Alright, so boss starts behind us, and if you guessed a spider or a crab, you are correct.
Oh, let's go, Crab Mecha.
Yeah, so, this guy here is armed with a lot of lasers, a lot of guns, missiles, and a giant death beam, which will kill me on contact if it hits me, no matter what, on hard mode. And if it doesn't kill me, well, I maybe had too much health when I got into the stage. It deals at least a third of my health in damage, if I have that much health for it. He has a variety of attacks, which hopefully he won't use all of them. Every boss has AI and at least one attack that they rarely use, but on hard mode, there's a higher chance that they'll use it. And yeah, so we're trying to avoid as much damage as we can here. This is where the stages start getting significantly harder, and our HP becomes much more valuable than it was previously. Alright, so once we blow up all the armor on the legs here, he'll start charging a laser beam. Yeah, here he goes. He's gonna start charging that. I'm gonna try to hit him and then deflect the beam away from me, hug the sides of the wall so I don't get hit by it, because that will kill me. Try to preserve our health. I want to stay on the opposite side of this boss whenever possible when he's hugging the walls like that, because if he crosses over with me, he could just face shot me with one of those beams. And there's really no telling what this boss will do, because he's one of the most random bosses in the game, which makes him far more scary than a lot of the other bosses. Alright, got him before he tried to fire the death beam. Oh boy, I am sweating, because we're going into the last half of the game with about half our HP. So, the less damage we take...
I believe in you. Chat believes in you.
The less damage we take going forward, the better for us. Hopefully we get enough Viper Boost charged up as well, because we're going to need it again.
While you...
I was going to say, we use Viper Boost 3 times on hard mode, but we only use it twice in normal as a comparison. So...
Wow, so just everything is full snowball.
Yeah.
Well, real quick here, while you move into the back half, I want to shout out this $50 donation from Bicolor Snake, who says, I need to make sure the true nature of the Far is revealed. And that is once again fighting over the Link to the Past sprite for Far in our finale. That all went to Dark Link, usurping Hornet, so we can see some evil. But of course, the neat thing about this marathon is you can direct your donation to a bid war, to our target to draw some Amoguses, and to our overall milestones all at once, thus tripling the value of your one donation.
You hear that? I heard the words value.
It's all value.
Alright, so this stage, it's going to seem pretty similar, but the opening on this stage is going to be a lot more aggressive. Much more enemies to deal with. There'll be some other robots trying to kill me. Constant attack waves. And then the mini-boss is a bit scary on this one compared to the actual boss. Really hard to kill all the enemies on hard on this stage. So here's the robots it's going to send. Try to kill these guys as quickly as we can. Again, trying to get our Viper Boost charged up as best we can. Alright, so now we're going to go boost over to the planet here with the B button, or the circle button. And we're going to destroy this Armada fleet, protecting the big ship in the center, which is our mini-boss. Mini-boss is currently invulnerable until we kill all of these guys, or a certain amount of time passes. And these Armada guys are pretty easy to kill. They don't really target lock you or anything, but we do want to try to kill them as best we can. If you're getting vertigo while watching this run. Trust me, it took me a while not to get vertigo while playing it. This game also has a first-person mode, which makes the game even more interesting. Which I don't play in for obvious reasons. Because then it's even harder to tell.
That does sound...
Yeah.
It does sound dangerous, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It gets even more chaotic when you're playing in first person. As far as, like, telling which direction you're facing, etc. Alright, so we're gonna wait for him to charge the beam here. It'll break his shield, and then we can start dealing damage to him. So normally we'd Viper Boost right off the bat with our full Viper Boost bar. But we can't quite do that. So instead, we're going to try to deal as much damage to the surrounding guns so that our Viper Boost doesn't actually target them. And then we'll go for the actual main boss. Or the mini boss here. And hopefully kill him with this. His weakest point is the absolute center of him. That didn't kill him, unfortunately. There we go. Okay, so this boss has a desperation attack. He will turn around and immediately fire a laser beam. It can kill me on contact in one hit, so thankfully we avoided that. That happens a lot faster on the charge up on hard mode than on normal. So if you're not ready for it, it will kill you. Alright, so remember the Snake Boy? Well, now he's all machine-like now. Which is a little scary if we're close to him. This boss is immune on the head, which, in order to make him take damage on his head, we need to break the body segments off of him. And that'll stop him from attacking for a brief duration when we do that. As long as we separate enough segments from him and keep them separated, he won't actually try to attack us as much. If we can get to the last part where there's no segments left, then he's pretty much a free finish on the kill. But again, avoiding this guy. Sometimes he likes to get really close, and other times he gets pretty far away. So again, just painting targets, trying not to use our regular shots as much as possible, because they'll just bounce off and hit us. So don't want to be dealing damage to myself. That would be not okay at this point with very little HP that we have. Alright, one more segment. There we go. So now he's gonna back up there. Ooh, I'm gonna get away from him. And then we're gonna hit him.
Nice save.
We're gonna hit him at a distance here, hopefully. Yep, there we go. Where we can hit him safely without him shooting randomly like he does there on his desperation. And then he's gonna blow up. Alright, so if you're on the edge of your seat, so am I. Because I am attempting to do this game deathless. Deathless on normal for me is pretty much a walk in the park. On hard mode, we're basically hoping for a 1cc at the very least. I mean, it is the nature of this game and an arcade-style game to boot, with the limited amount of health between stages. It's one of the things that makes this game extremely challenging when you're first getting into it, so... Alright, next planet.
And how long have you been running this game?
So I've been running this game on and off for over 2 years now. It took me a year before I got good enough to do Deathless on normal, just as a bit of information on how long I've spent working on this game. My fastest clear time is like a sub 27 usually, and generally a good run is a sub 30 IGT. And IGT is tracked as if it's real time without cutscenes, which are the little intermission that we saw between the stages. And if you happen to die, you won't get a CLR clear on the final results screen if you do finish the game without dying all your lives. So that's a good indication that you got a Deathless run, is that on the final results screen you'll get a CLR on the clear, but that only really matters if you have a free scoreboard, where there's not really high scores to complete against. But you'll know, because you won't see the continue screen if you didn't die. Alright, so dropships, that'll drop some enemies for us to kill. If we can kill the dropships fast enough, they won't drop all the enemies. The final boss of this stage is very scary. It'll be another refight, but significantly harder. There's also 2 mini-bosses to deal with, technically, or 3 on this stage, if you want to count it that way. I know I said 2, but I don't really count the way it does one of these mini-bosses as an extra one. And you'll see why in a few moments. Just gotta get through this phase with the jets and stuff flying around. Alright, mini-boss is coming up. Alright, this mini-boss is fairly easy. So he's a motorbike with lasers on the side that will fire missiles. And we're gonna make him do donuts. And we're gonna go upside down here. I apologize. But I promise this is the safest way to deal with this boss. Alright, so when he dies there, reorientate ourselves so we're not upside down. Gonna spawn 2 mini-bosses out of him. I didn't quite kill the one. There we go. Normally on normal mode, I would instantly kill that second one there by running myself into him. Because on contact damage on normal against that guy, it just instantly kills him. I can't quite do that on hard, unfortunately, so I'm not going to risk it. Need that health for this boss here. So it's a refight against Beta Boost. Got some new tricks. This will be the last time that we fight a rival here. He's significantly harder. Pretty much can do everything we can do and then some. And we're going to try to get as many target locks as we can on the first part of the phase here. It's going to do some boomerang attacks shortly. After this part of the phase. Try to get as many of these paints on him, get as low as we can here. The lower we get him here, the better. Alright, so these boomerang attacks do a load of damage. We want to avoid them. They boomerang around. And, yeah, it makes dealing with this guy pretty annoying. This is probably the scariest attack that this guy can do. I didn't hit him, apparently. Okay, got him. A little scared of my HP
Expertly
there.
handled.
Alright, Desperation attack for Beta Boost here is, of course, his Omega, his boost drive. So he's gonna chase us and try to deal damage to us. Oops. Okay. Ow. Okay, thankfully he doesn't really deal damage. Ideally, we just want to avoid it, get him close to the ground when we kill him, and when he dies, and then it ends the stage faster. Alright, so second to last zone now, which is a timed boss rush. It's 2 bosses. The faster you kill the first boss, the easier the second part of the stage is. And then from here forward, it's just bosses. So whatever health I have from here going forward is basically all I got for the rest of the game. So fingers crossed, everybody, that we can actually do this. Hopefully deathless, but I'm just counting for a 1cc.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone again who helped us get this difficulty upgrade incentive met before this run, because you did not undersell it. I am quite literally on the edge of my seat right now.
Yeah. So this boss, I gotta kill the gem spots around him. He'll fire at me sometimes. We gotta hit the big crystal in the back, which is protected while he's like this. We're waiting for him to separate when we hit the body parts. In normal, you can literally one cycle this if you're really good with your mashing. Generally, you can get a 2 cycle is pretty good on normal. On hard mode, you're looking for around a 4 or 5 cycle. You could get a 3 cycle, but extremely difficult to do in general. All right, first part's down. I believe that was a 3 cycle, so that was fine. Still a little bit scared on my HP, but if we don't take any more damage, then we should be okay. Stage is going to explode here, and then we're going to see the actual boss of the stage, which, if you guessed it, is going to be what I like to call a giant space banana that shoots little space bananas, and we just need to avoid them because they deal contact damage and explode and deal a lot of damage. And try to target lock this guy down as quickly as we can. And if we target lock some of the little space bananas chasing us, that's good. Because the less of them, the better. And we're just trying to beat the clock as quickly as we can. So this phase, honestly, as long as you're not standing still, it's super fine. My fastest clear time for the stage on normal is sub 1. So just as a just to show like the kind of stuff that I have to deal with and like how much I have to think about like taking on certain enemies. Like stages that we've already gone through, well, are done fast still, are significantly faster on normal, and it's not because the enemies and bosses have less HP, they have the same amount. It's just you need to avoid a lot more attacks because preserving your HP is the most important thing when doing runs. Alright, so the final stage here is going to be a 3-part boss. So all the health that I have left going into the stage. There will be a photosensitivity warning if we can get to the 3rd phase here. Again, I only have 5 lives, one of which I'm already using. The opening of this boss fight, we start by shooting him before some crystals spawn, and then that allows us to do free damage before he actually initiates his first phase of attack. We're going to keep him on the first cycle here by destroying some of those. Not target locking him because he'll bounce them back with the little orbiting orbs around him. And we'll deal free damage, keeping him on phase 1 of this cycle. And then on phase 2 of the boss here, it's going to come back out as a giant robotic centipede that's going to do a bunch of drive-by lasers on me. We're going to try to pay as many missiles as we can. We use our Viper boost after we did that, so that we can quickly kill these segments, preserving as much HP, so we can get into the front of the boss. Again, I'm a little scared of my HP. We'll see how the front of this boss deals. Destroy those segments as best we can. I need to avoid these attacks. Oh boy. A little scared here. Alright, this could kill me if it hits me. Oop. Oh my. Okay. So we're not doing the deathless, unfortunately.
Oh, 1 HP in a dream was so real there.
Yeah, I mean, the last phase of this boss isn't terribly hard. He has one attack that does like a homing attack on me. But we just need to get there with a okay amount of HP. It's phase 2 that, and like the start of this phase right here, that is a bit of the concern. But if you don't deal enough, if you don't do too much damage to yourself with the reflecting shots, then we'll be okay. So that's a little bit better. We just gotta get past phase 2, and then we should be okay. But yeah, like, again, I'm making this game look relatively easy. I know I died, but again, not having as much health recovery between stages is like the biggest factor between normal and hard. And then like the Viper boost itself recharges a bit slower per damage or kill you do. I need to... Can you get in the right spot so I can hit that? Thank you. And he does these attacks really quickly too, so dodging them is a lot harder. That was a little bit nicer of an opening. Alright, yeah. Dodge there. If you're wondering why I'm not doing target lock, he'll just bounce them back and kill me. So we're avoiding that.
Oh, of course.
There's one attack this boss can do. He just spits out a gazillion lasers at me, and there's pretty much no way to dodge all of them. You're pretty much guaranteed to get hit. Alright, so phase 2 is done. Hopefully we have enough health for phase 3. Photosensitivity warning, as part of the boss is going to be a little trippy. Because we're in, like, subspace here. So, like, all the animations, things are going to be a little weird looking. My target lock's also going to be slowed down during this boss fight, which makes getting damage on stiffly harder. And now we're fighting, basically, Alpha Core itself. Which is a souped up version of it mimicking us. And ideally we just want to get as many target locks on as possible. It has a homing attack that we're going to try to not die to, if it decides to use it. That's the worst attack that it could do to us. Yeah, so that's the audio cue. When you hear like the like that's your cue to get out of the way. There's doing some more. Just gonna keep outrunning them. Oh, he's really like using that attack right now. Alright. So far so good. Alright. We're getting there. We have our Vapor Boost back, thankfully. He's gonna teleport behind me now. He's gonna do his Desperation attack, which is a giant laser beam. Now, we avoided that, so we're good. Alright, almost dead. Alright, boss is dead. I Viper Boost there just so I didn't die, but that's GG. Run is done. So it's a 1cc, it's not deathless, but you guys wanted to make the run harder and more interesting, and there you go.
Absolutely unreal. And it looks like sub 40 on the RTA timer as well.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the IGT is. The IGT is probably not as good. I mean, it's not a true IGT because like it doesn't count the attempts for the life that I died on. So it'll only count my actual clear time on each stage. But just for giggles, we'll go and see that. There's a long expose cutscene that we're going to skip here. It's just him teleporting back to 1946, stopping ENIAC, which is the first artificial intelligence computer, from going rogue and creating the Alpha Core and then, you know, dooming humanity. So that takes about a few minutes to do. But we're just going to go see the IGT really quickly and get a result there. So it's a 3249 IGT, which is not bad. Again, generally for a normal run, you're looking at like a sub 30 for a decent run. Top players, you're looking at like a sub 26, sub 27. I think the fastest time right now is around a 23, which is pretty insane. But there you go.
That's wild. Well, after such a display of skill, please tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing in video games at this moment.
So yeah, my name is Mash. You can find me on Twitch underneath EzoMash, which is EZ0MASH. Right now, I'm currently on my shmup arc of speedrunning. So I've been playing games like Gray's Counter, which is a very aggressive game. It's a lot quicker than this, but it's one hit, you're dead in that game. So I've been doing deathless clears on that. And I've also been working on other shmups as well. Angel at Dusk, which is an interesting game. It's a macabre-style horror game for a shooter. And then I'm commonly playing a lot of action RPGs like Drakengard games or Nier games, if you're familiar with those. And a lot of general RPGs all the time. So I've entered a new era for speedruns for myself and visiting a lot of shorter, more arcade-style games recently. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot more challenging for sure. It's a lot more skill-focused than I'm used to.
That is awesome. Thank you again, Mash. And make some noise in the chat one more time for what has been a frighteningly cool display of robots fighting robots. Friends, we are going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with something almost as